What's going on, everybody? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today we're going to be taking a first look at the all-new Lenovo Legion Go 2. And keep in mind, this is the Z2 Extreme version, the higher-end variant that they offer. I know a lot of people out there have been really excited about this, including myself, and I do want to mention that at the time of making this video, I got this 6 days ago. But the day I got it, I had to go on a 5-day trip. This was the only handheld that I brought with me, so this is what I used on the plane and everything like that. During the trip, I didn't have a lot of time to film the unit itself. I will have more videos coming, but just keep in mind, this is more of a first look video. We're still going to do some game testing, benchmarks. We're going to take a look at some early battery life and everything like that. But during the trip, I had a blast with this thing. The Legion Go 2 does come with this nice little zipper case. It's going to protect it when you're on the go, and I would just throw this right in my backpack. I wouldn't even worry about it. And I'll tell you, the first thing I noticed about the Legion Go 2 when unboxing it was it doesn't feel as heavy as it looks on paper. It's one of the more heavier handhelds, coming in at up to 920 grams with those controllers attached, but it's very well balanced. We've got that battery right in the middle, single fan cooling system. Lenovo did a really good job balancing the weight on this thing for sure. With the Legion Go 2, we do have those detachable controllers, and right in this zipper case that's included, we do have the FPS mount, so one of our controllers is going to mount in there. It's actually got a little locking mechanism, and we've got a cover. So over on the side where it attaches, we can actually place this little rubber cover over it, so those aren't exposed. It wouldn't hurt you, and you're not going to hurt that if they were exposed, but it's pretty cool that they have that for FPS mode. Let's go ahead and boot this thing up for the first time. Up top, we've got our Legion button, and the colored LEDs around it will indicate which performance mode you're in. I will go over all of those modes, and they do differ when you're on battery or plugged into the wall. So we do have kind of a dock mode here that will take us up quite high. But the next thing I noticed about the Legion Go 2 was this thing looks tough. In my opinion, it is one of the best looking handhelds on the market right now. We've got a beautiful 8.8-inch OLED display at 1200p with up to 1100 nits of peak brightness with this unit. Taking a look around the unit, over here on the right-hand side, we've got that built-in trackpad, regular A, B, X, Y button. Our Legion menu button over on the right-hand side and left-hand side. They also opted to use Hall-based analog sticks. These are full-sized Hall-based analog sticks, and the D-pad is much improved over the original Legion Go. Taking a look around back here, that right-hand controller is just going to have more buttons built in because that's going to be our FPS controller for the stand that we have included with this unit. We also have a few extra macro keys that are fully programmable from software, and they added a really nice grip texture to the controllers, just kind of helps you hang on to this thing. Up top, we've got our shoulder buttons, our triggers, our power button, USB 4, which does run at a 40 gig protocol, and we've got our volume rocker. But another thing I noticed here was this has top firing stereo speakers. The sound on this thing is excellent, puts out some bass, but this is the first time I've seen it firing from the top. And of course, down here on that right-hand controller, we've got our FPS mode switch, so we can swap this out at any time. Another USB 4 port, micro SD card slot, good up to a 2 terabyte card, and a 3.5mm audio jack. Again, the Legion Go 2 doesn't feel as heavy as you'd think it would. It's balanced very well, and I think it really comes down to just having that massive 8.8-inch display. They could spread a lot more out. With a smaller handheld, a lot of that weight is concentrated, so it kind of feels like a brick. But since the Legion Go 2 is a bigger handheld, they could spread that weight out. Ergonomics here are great. They must have done a lot of research on this, but I'll tell you that the Legion Go S is still the most comfortable handheld on the market. It's just something about the way they've got that design. Now this does come in really close, and I can reach all of the buttons on it quite easily. It's got the nice rounded edges around back. It just kind of hugs your palm. Getting even to the trackpad here while you're holding it like a handheld is super easy. And the D-pad here is miles ahead of the Gen 1 when it comes to feel and accuracy. One thing that sets the Legion Go and the Go 2 apart from other handhelds is the fact that we've got these detachable controllers, and these new controllers do have USB Type-C ports on them, so we can charge them individually. There's a switch on the bottom of the right-hand side controller that'll allow us to go into FPS mode. And they also added USB Type-C ports on these controllers so we can charge them individually. The newly designed FPS baseplate does have a locking mechanism, so you don't have to worry about this thing pulling out while you're doing some crazy gaming in FPS mode. And again, we do have USB Type-C ports here, so we can charge these up individually. That was something that a lot of people wanted to see on the original Legion Go because in order to charge them, you had to connect them right back to the unit itself. But the new design here, really nice. Love the feel of these controllers when they're attached or even detached. And when it comes to the overall specs, like I mentioned, we've got the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme variant, but remember, they've got the AMD Ryzen Z2 non-extreme variant with only 16 gigs of RAM that you can pick up. But the Z2 Extreme is based on Zen 5. We've got 8 cores, 16 threads, and it's configured in a bit of a different way. So we've got 3 Zen 5 cores and 5 Zen 5C cores. The real difference here is in the boost clocks because the base clock on all cores is 2 gigahertz, but the boost clock on the Zen 5 cores is 5 gigahertz, and the Zen 5C cores only go up to 3.3. The GPU is that 16 compute unit RDNA 3.5. It's actually the 890M with the Z2 Extreme, boost up to 2900 megahertz, 32 gigs of RAM running at 8,000 megatransfers per second, a 144 Hz, 8.8-inch OLED display with a resolution of 1920 by 1200, so it's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, up to 1100 nits of peak brightness, and it's 100% DCI-P3. Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, a 74 watt-hour battery that does support rapid charge, so you can do 0 to 50% in 30 minutes. And of course, this is running Windows 11 out of the box. Getting in a bit closer so I can give you a quick look at the software, and over on the left-hand side of the Legion Go 2, we've got our Legion Space button, just like we did with the original Legion Go. Pressing it once, it's going to bring up Legion Space, and there's a store built in. You can go through, buy some games from here if you want to, but most people are probably going to use what they already have in Steam or other stores, and that's where Library comes in. This is going to scan our default directories, get us all the games that we have installed on the unit itself. Moving over, we've got our settings, and at the bottom, performance, display, audio, disk drives, general. And back up at the top, we've got controllers. Button mapping. We can set the dead zones. We can map the buttons on this. It's really up to you. You can set it to desktop mode if you want. Joystick lighting can be fully adjusted from here. Joystick settings. Again, adjusting the dead zones is really easy on the joysticks and the triggers. Gyro settings, controller calibration, and we've got more here. Okay, yeah, this will allow us to change the controller mode, vibration mode, and there's a few presets here. I was playing a lot of racing games, so I had mine set to racing. Haptics on this are really nice. From settings, where I spend most of my time is going to be in performance. We've got a few different presets that we can use here. Quiet mode on battery is going to be 8 watts. Plugged into the wall, it's 15 watts. Balanced on battery is a 16-watt TDP. Plugged into the wall, that's going to bring us up to 25 watts. And on battery, performance is going to be 20 watts. Plugged into the wall, up to 32. Plus, we've got our custom mode here. So this is going to allow us to go anywhere from 35 watts. This is going to be our sustain. For 2 minutes, we can do a boost up to 37, and for 10 seconds, up to 45. You can also fully adjust the fan curve if you want to customize it, but we've also got some presets here from our performance, balance. You can go full speed if you need to, and I'll tell you, at full speed, this thing can get pretty loud. FPS limiter right here. Can totally disable that. You can go up to 144 with this panel. From the display, we can change the brightness, resolution on the fly, so 1280 by 800, 1600 by 1000, and 1920 by 1200 because we've got a 16 by 10 aspect ratio display. Refresh rate, 60 up to 144, and you can add Radeon Super Resolution directly from within Legion Space. Audio can also be adjusted here. Microphone, you can change your input, full volume on the unit. Disk drives is just going to give us a look at what kind of free space we have. And then we've got general, just going to allow us to change the clock to a 24-hour system if you want to. You can disable the power button light if you want, optimize battery charging. So there's a lot of stuff here that we can do from within Legion Space. But I'll tell you, over on the right-hand side, we've got our quick menu. Everything we have in Legion Space can be done from here, and this just makes it really easy to do it from within a game. So while you're playing the game, you can press it at any time. Performance, fan curve, we can change the TDP. Moving down to general, brightness, resolution, refresh rate. You can adjust the controller from here. And if you want to disable the touchpad altogether, you can do it right here in the quick menu. System quick settings. Moving down to productivity mode. This actually comes in really handy if you're going to be using this with an external monitor. You can set the external display as your primary display. And sometimes I've run into the past with handhelds. It'll default to 16:10, and that's what I've got it set at right now. But we can make sure that this will default to 16:9 when we have it plugged into a monitor. In my full review, we'll go a bit deeper because there's some other stuff that I want to show off here. I personally need to spend a little more time with it. But now I want to move over to some benchmarks that I ran on this, and then we'll get into some gaming. The first one we have here is Geekbench 6, 35-watt TDP with these benchmarks. And when it comes to single core, 2,814, multi 12,344. So yeah, this is falling right in line with other Z2 Extreme powered devices that I've been able to test so far. I also ran 3D Mark Time Spy, coming in with a pretty impressive 4,097. I will have a dedicated video facing this off against the Z1 Extreme and another Z2 Extreme powered device, so we'll save some lower TDP benchmarks for that video. But now it's time to hop right into some gaming. And the first one I wanted to test was Forza Horizon 5. 1200p, medium settings, 20-watt TDP, so we're in performance mode on battery. Taking a look at these analog triggers, work really well for launch control. I mean, they're super accurate here, and you can change those dead zones from software if you don't like the feel of it. Forza Horizon 5, very well optimized game. Of course, it does run on a lot of different devices, and we could take the TDP down, but I didn't go to a custom mode. I just went to performance on battery. We're getting over 90 FPS on average with it set up just like it is. We can go to high here, and we'll see an average of around 72, but I think medium still looks great here at 1200p. Analog sticks, very smooth, and we did take a look at those triggers, so yeah, I mean, if you did want to play some racing games with this, really nice control set built in here for those games. Going back just a bit to Fallout 4, 1200p, high settings, performance mode, so we're right there at a 20-watt TDP. And this is one I usually always lock down to 60 FPS on an iGPU because sometimes it just kind of outruns itself. But even here, I mean, we're over that 60 mark, seeing an average of around 78 FPS out of it, and it's performing really well in performance mode on this device. Of course, we had to test out FPS mode, and this will take a little bit of getting used to. I did have to turn the sensitivity down from within Windows for this, but I've got Borderlands 4, and this game just does not run well on any iGPUs. I'm at 800p, 35-watt TDP, so we're plugged into the wall right now, but we're at low settings. This game definitely needs some more optimizations, but I'll tell you, once you get used to FPS mode here, this actually works out really well. Not sure how much I'm going to utilize it myself. I'd kind of rather just be in handheld mode, but I could see people using this, let's say with this plugged into a monitor, having this set right on the desk. And the final game I wanted to test was Cyberpunk 2077. We're in performance mode, so we've got that 25-watt TDP, 1200p Steam Deck preset. Was hoping to see a little more out of this, at that Steam Deck preset. And there is a way we can actually get this up to 60 at that 25-watt TDP, actually around an average of 72, taking it down to a low medium mix, 800p. It's going to net you much better performance, but I wanted to keep it right here at 1200p to see what it does, and it looks like we're seeing an average of around 48 FPS out of it. Another thing that I've been testing with Cyberpunk is HDR and frame gen. At night with HDR on, looking at bright lights, it's almost blinding. Up to 1100 nits of brightness in HDR mode, it looks really good. And this is uncalibrated, so I do need to do a calibration from within Windows, but the blacks are super deep, the colors are very vibrant, and those lights really shine through. HDR on this panel, once it's calibrated, I think is going to impress a lot of people out there. Now, I want to talk about battery life, and this is just early battery life testing. We've got a 74 watt-hour battery here, screen brightness set to 50% with my testing. What I use is hardware info. We can set a certain TDP or a certain performance profile and see exactly how much is being pulled from the battery. Quiet mode, which is around 8 watts, just doing some indie gaming, it's pulling around 12 watts in total with that screen brightness set to 50%. That's a little over 6 hours of runtime out of it. Balanced mode, AAA gaming, it's pulling 27 watts from the battery, around 2 hours and 44 minutes. And in performance mode with AAA gaming, we're seeing around 30 watts total draw from the battery, so around 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I suspect we will get better battery life down the road. In my next video, we'll do some real world testing. This was just kind of an estimate here, but it's not looking horrible. First impressions, beautiful OLED display. I mean, I love this display, especially with HDR enabled. Ergonomics are great, all of the buttons easy to reach. FPS mode is a plus for people who are going to use FPS mode. The trackpad over on the right-hand side also comes in really handy for navigating windows, but we've got that Z2 Extreme, and I've tested the Z2 Extreme on the channel. It's not a huge upgrade over the Z1 Extreme. So what I want to do here is spend a couple more days with it. I'm going to face this off against the other Z2 Extreme device that I have and a Z1 and kind of see where this thing stands. As a lot of you already know, this is not a cheap device. It's one of the more expensive handhelds on the market. A lot of it is due to tariffs right now, but I also think that the screen here did add a tremendous cost to making this device here. It's an OLED with VRR, native landscape, and Lenovo had to have somebody make this specifically for them because in that 8.8-inch range, Lenovo is the only company using this size display. And from the original Legion Go, it was 8.8 inches. I believe that was the same 144 hertz display that we see in some of their Legion tablets also. So I wouldn't doubt that they'll also throw this in one of their smaller 8.8-inch tablets down the road. Either way, it's a premium device, and so far, I've been having a lot of fun with it. More videos are on the way, so if there's anything specific you want to see running on the new Legion Go 2, just let me know in the comments below, and if you're interested in learning a little more, I'll leave links in the description. But that's it for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.